I love you, monster. Are you a virgin, miss? We are very sorry, but without money, we can't save him. No, please. Wait, doctor, please. Her red, cherry-like lips were trembling in fear. Her body was frozen as she stopped in the middle of the road the moment the doctor ended the call. Her mind went blank and her tears just wouldn't stop falling like rain. The weak light of hope left in her heart was completely covered with nothing but darkness. Her eyes, which were as beautiful as the most expensive diamond in existence, were turning lifeless. Life was, as always, too cruel for her. Her sweet little brother, who was just 11 years old, was dying. He needed a bone marrow transplant, but Davi failed to find enough money needed for it. She already sold everything they had, and the only thing left was her body. Davi was just an ordinary girl, but her beauty was something even the FLIs wouldn't deny. Yes, she was too beautiful that she was nicknamed the most unfortunate goddess in existence. Living a poor life earned her such a nickname. People mocked her for wasting her beauty, saying that she was like a lost diamond, wasting her life living among the gravel stones. She was scouted by numerous talent agencies offering her what was considered lavish, but she declined them all. People called her crazy, but little did they knew how much Davi hated the entertainment industry. To her, the entertainment industry was nothing but hell. It was the same hell that ruined her entire family. Even now, her hate never subsided, to the point that she'd rather sell herself than join the same hell that was responsible for her parents' death. Beep. A car was approaching her, but Davi's mind refused to work anymore. She needed someone to help her save her brother. She was ready to offer herself to the gods if her brother, her only family alive, would be saved. A BMW stopped less than a meter away from her. The car's door opened, but Davi was still staring at her phone. Miss, are you in need of money that much to even attempt something like this? A manly voice faintly reached Davi's consciousness, so she blankly turned her face to see a tall man who looks like a bodyguard in front of her. He was angry, but the man's eyes slightly widened the moment he saw her face. The girl was crying so hard, she looked like the world was over for her. Her eye bags were dark, but her beauty was just too much to ignore. She looked like a perfect doll, almost too beautiful to be true. Yes, I need money. Davi's voice was hoarse, but her half-conscious mind still made her say what she wanted. Deep within her, she knew that if her brother was gone as well, she wouldn't be able to continue living anymore. Are you a virgin? The man quickly asked without beating around the bush, straight as ever. Davi instantly felt chills, and her mind was immediately awakened by the words of the stranger in front of her. She knew the meaning of his words. Her tears fell again, but she clenched her fist tight. What is dignity if I lose my only reason to keep living? What is life if the last of my family die as well? She thought. She bit her lip, then met the tall man's serious eyes bravely, like a warrior. Yes. Upon hearing the girl's answer, the tall man narrowed his eyes. He stared at her for a long while as if he was contemplating about something, and then he quickly brought out his phone. He turned his back and made a quick call before he faced the girl again. Then come with me. I need to confirm that you're a virgin first. The man moved and opened the car's door, but Davi didn't move. What? You changed your mind? No, but I'm running out of time. My brother is dying. He needs a surgery right away. If I delay any more, he might not make it. Davi's lost light of hope lit once again, so her brain instantly woke up. For another fight, she was desperate. She won't give up no matter how faint the light of hope was. What if you're lying? The man glared at her. The man's aura was intimidating, as if he was a dreadful soldier who already killed dozens or even hundreds of men. But surprisingly, Davi couldn't even feel scared anymore. There was nothing more fearful to her than the death of her only family. If I'm lying, then kill me. Her eyes glittered wildly, and the man couldn't help but feel a faint aura of a warrior strangely coming from her. She was just a beautiful girl, but he felt like she was someone who had gone through hell. She looked so weak, but felt so strong. She was indeed the type of a girl he was looking for. Fine, as you wish. For some reason, the man looked like he was relieved. He then quickly went inside the car and took a white folder with him. Here, this is the contract. If you are willing to abide, then sign it, and half of the money will be transferred right now. The man said, and Davi quickly took the papers in his hand, surprised that the man actually had a contract with him. Could it be that this man was on his way to offer this contract with someone? Davi looked at him and swallowed. If that was the case, could she think of this coincidence as a mercy? She scanned the paper right away to the page where the amount of money was indicated. But to her surprise, there was no amount of money written in the contract. As you can see, the money depends on what you ask for. The limit of money you want depends on you, the man said with a straight face, looking strict and firm. Davi couldn't believe it, but she had no more time to waste. She was ready for whatever lies ahead. She knew how absurd this kind of offer was. She knew that it was too good to be true, and yet she didn't hesitate anymore. She didn't even take the time to read what the conditions were. I'm signing it now. Huh? But you haven't even read. It's fine. I will read it later. Please. I need to save my brother first. Pen, please. The tall man's straight face frowned in disbelief. He couldn't see any hesitation on this weak-looking girl's face. Her eyes were filled with nothing but determination. She looked like she was determined to fight, even if the cost was to be dragged through hell. This isn't a plaything, I'm warning you, the man said as he showed an obvious hesitation in his face while lending her a pen. But Davi quickly took the pen from his hand. Under a broad daylight, in the middle of a road where a few cars were passing by, she signed the contract with her heart and soul burning like fire. That moment, she raised her hand, giving back the papers to the man. A mysterious smile was carved in her soft red lips. It was a smile filled with mixed emotions. Pain and relief merged as one inside her chest. She was burning. She felt like the world was crushing her heart. She knew that after this one short moment, her life will never be the same again. 5 days passed, and Davi was now inside a luxurious car heading towards a place she didn't even know. Her brother was now safe. He was recovering in the hospital. When she left him, Davi broke down in tears when the doctors assured her that he was now stable and safe. She felt like a huge thorn that was stabbed in her chest was painfully pulled out, and she could finally breathe again. The day she signed the contract, Davi herself was stunned on how fast things went through. Her brother was instantly transferred to the country's most expensive hospital. He was treated as if he was an heir of some rich family. His room didn't even look like it was in a hospital, rather, it looked like a presidential suite. Davi only asked them to save him. She didn't ask them to treat him like a prince or anything. Even she was no exemption because she was also strangely being treated like a princess. But then, Davi couldn't even pay any attention to the sudden extravagance she was suddenly experiencing. She just didn't care anymore. What was important to her was nothing but her brother's safety. After his brother's successful surgery, Davi was brought to an empty church for her wedding. The church was filled with white flowers. It almost looked like a fairy's den. Every corner was beautifully designed with lavish and expensive materials. Her dress was nothing like a wedding gown, it was an evening gown, designed with real gems. Her long, straight black hair was dancing gracefully like a black silk waterfall. Everything she wore, everything she saw around was insanely unreal. She looked like a princess in the realm of the gods. She was breathtakingly beautiful and looking pure as snow. But despite all these lavishness and extravagance, the magical hall was empty. She was alone. That bodyguard told her that something suddenly happened, so the groom left before she could even arrive, and that there was no need for any ceremony anymore. The wedding contract was already signed by a nameless someone. There was no printed name written before the signature. And yet, Davi was strangely calm throughout the whole process. The guards were outside so no one could see her. She stared at her soon-to-be husband's signature for a long moment, then she lifted the white folder she was holding. It was the folder she signed days ago that she hadn't even read yet. The groom wasn't there, nor the priest, so Davi read. She went straight to the front page, then read the whole contract aloud. The contract didn't look like a joke at all, but she was smiling. The document almost looked like it was some sort of government confidential file. The only thing weird was that the content felt like a joke to her. The contract stated that she will be heading to her husband's mansion 5 days after her contract signing. She will become a wife until she bears a child. And after giving birth, the child won't be hers. That was all. Nothing was written what will happen after she gave birth. Basically, her only mission was to give her husband a child. However, the rules were even more strange, especially the last one. Rule number 4, you are not allowed to see your husband's face. Davi didn't know how to react. She was speechless. The most important note in the last page also stated that if she broke any of those rules, stated it would cost her contract, termination, and jail, or her life. Her mind was full of curiosity and at the same time uneasiness and bitterness. She couldn't help but think about what was waiting for her. But after a moment, she still went and signed the marriage certificate without batting an eye. She knew that it was foolish for her to even think about backing off now. After she signed it, she smiled bitterly. She couldn't believe that she was already married to a man she had never even seen. And what was worse, she might really never see his face at all.